Hello, and welcome to the November 2024 edition of Ask the Experts. These are the questions that have come into the Tom Copeland blog from our readers, and every month we do take the time at Civitas Strategies. We are the stewards of Tom Copeland's blog. We do take the time to answer your questions and then post this video. So we are going to start today with our first question is it correct that if I track the hours I spend after hours on tasks like cleaning, bookkeeping, planning for January, February, and March, I can then average those hours for the remaining months of the year I run an in-home daycare? So this particular provider is referring to calculating the amount of hours that they use for their business so that they may calculate the time-space calculation, right? So that's why they're asking how many hours can they basically take an average of hours for the time spent outside of the business and use that per month for their time-space calculation. And the answer is yes. However, it may not be as accurate as tracking the actual hours spent outside of the business on a monthly basis. You will want to keep documentation, even if you're doing the average, of what the tasks were and how long they took, should the IRS ever ask for that. You will need to use that average for the entire year. So you cannot come up with an average and then a month later do the actual. So consistency is key when it comes to something of this nature. So just keep in mind, you may find that the average, perhaps in January, February, and March, is lower than what the actual hours would have been if you added up each individual month for each individual task. So you may want to do a comparison, see what would work to your best advantage, but yes, you can do that. All right, so our next question, and we have several questions regarding this. Basically, childcare providers looking for properly educated tax preparers. And we will say that it is a struggle for childcare providers across the United States to find qualified tax preparers who understand family child care as well as child care centers. So it is a challenge. Our recommendations are that you reach out to your community, finding if anyone who owns a childcare business has found a qualified tax preparer, someone that they feel comfortable with, that they feel very confident are properly preparing their taxes. You also could reach out to any state resources that you have, any state organizations that work with childcare, to see if they have a list of tax preparers, or you could reach out to CCR&Rs in your area and see if they have a list of tax preparers. Unfortunately, Civitas Strategies does not. Please be sure to do your due diligence, ask a lot of questions, make yourself aware of the time-space calculation and all of the allowable expenses that you may take. You can find information on time-space as well as the allowable expenses that you may take by visiting our website, civstrat.com. You'll see a banner at the top of the page that has tax resources. You can click on that and find out more about time, space, and allowable expenses, or feel free to please go to our Civitas Strategies YouTube channel and search the term for the information that you're looking for. We have many videos on our YouTube channel that could apply so that you can be prepared when you have a conversation with a qualified tax preparer. All right, we did have a couple of questions about, are there any upcoming English and Spanish basic tax preparation trainings, workshops, and things of that nature? Civitas does not have any free tax preparation trainings or workshops available to the public. We do suggest that you reach out to your local agency or organization that supports childcare to see if they are going to be sponsoring any type of a tax webinar or tax presentation. You can find recordings of our previous tax presentations at our YouTube channel, Civitas Strategies, and search for tax preparation. You will find a lot of webinars and presentations with current information. So I really would stress looking at those there. All right, we have a question that is very common to childcare. I'm getting ready to purchase a home. My childcare business deductions prevent me from showing enough income to qualify for a home, even after what can be added back in. Can I take less deductions in the next year to show more income and then amend my tax return for deductions within 3 years? I do not want to trigger an audit and would like to be a homeowner. So very, very common situation for childcare providers, and definitely a situation in which you will want professional tax advice. We will tell you that we have found that often smaller lending institutions and credit unions are more likely to offer mortgages because they will at times accept other forms of financial records in addition to your Schedule C. So you may want to reach out to some of these smaller lending organizations to see if there are other financial documents that they will take into consideration when considering you for a mortgage. But you also really should speak with a tax preparer regarding a strategy of not declaring expenses and then amending taxes after you've obtained a mortgage. So please do speak to a tax preparer about that. Very, very common problem here. We have a question that I was told I can deduct 7.5% of costs related to self-care, such as chiropractic care, massages, other therapeutic visits. This deduction would come after medical deductions. Could you shed some light on this? And this is also a question for a tax professional. They need to address your particular situation. So unfortunately, we don't have any further details on that. We have a question here, or we have two related questions. One is, I'm currently in the process of going through homeowners insurance claim for storm damage. I am wondering if these repairs to my home are able to be deducted or depreciated. We had a window replaced, which we paid for out of pocket, roofing and siding. And then the second question is, we've been putting off getting a new furnace and air conditioner and are looking to get new ones. Would this be a business deduction counted as time space, or would this fall into any other category, such as being a big expense? So these are two related questions. Keep in mind, repairs to your home may be deductible using the time-space calculation, but in some instances, depreciation may need to apply if the changes are considered to be upgrades or improvements and not just repairs. So given that first example, it does sound like these are repairs that would be deductible using time-space if the space in which those repairs occurred were shared between your business and your home use of your home there. So your business and personal use of home. The second question, it sounds like these may be considered improvements, which could be subject to depreciation, although you still apply time space to such an expense improvement that you would be depreciating there. So you will want to make sure that your time space calculation is absolutely correct, and then visit with a tax professional to help complete the calculations for either the allowable expenses for repairs or to help you depreciate improvements. All right, we have two questions that are related to beneficial ownership information, the BOI. So before I answer the questions, I do want to let you know that as of November 2024, there has been a pause in the requirement for BOI filing. However, that pause could be lifted at any time. Prior to November of 2024, anywhere from January 1st to November of 2024, businesses that are LLCs or corporations were required to file BOI, and that could be reinstituted at any time. So you will want to actually go to the FineCen, FINCEN website for updates on BOI. But let's look at these two questions as if BOI were still in place. So this is a small family childcare without employees. I am not an LLC. I am not incorporated. Do I need to file BOI? And no, a sole proprietorship would not need to file BOI. However, if they were a single member LLC, they would need to file BOI if BOI is in fact reinstated. The second question that we had is that this particular provider is concerned about, oh, they received a letter, I apologize. They received a letter regarding BOI. And if your business is a LLC corporation, S corporation, C corporation, most likely prior to November of 2024, when the BOI requirement was in effect, yes, you would need to report. It is extremely, extremely easy to do so. However, in November of 2024, there was a pause instituted on having to file BOI. I can tell you that for individual businesses, filing BOI is often takes less than 10 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes. It's extremely easy. My recommendation, if you'd like to learn more about BOI, is to go to the Civitas Strategies YouTube channel and search beneficial ownership information. We did record a presentation, a webinar on BOI at the beginning of 2024, and we have it posted there on our website. It covers the process of reporting BOI from start to finish, the qualifications and such. You'll want to review that in case the BOI requirement is reinstated. So keep there. We have an individual who did go into detail about situations in Ohio regarding exit interviews and different types of requirements for their employees of employment changes. They have many, many different questions. And the reality is that that is really a question for a legal professional who specializes in employment law for businesses as the employer. We can't tell you if it is legal for them to require you to complete the exit survey. So I do apologize. Our recommendation is that you please seek some legal counsel there. We have somebody asking if we have a budget template that can be used for providers. And if you go to Civstrat, CIVSTRAT.com, and look for resources, you will find budget templates and other information on budgeting, cash flow, and such. So please, by all means, refer to the resources on our website. So we have another provider here who is asking, and this happens to be, excuse me, not a provider, this is a business consultant for an Oklahoma child care resource and referral, who will be speaking to child care providers regarding tax preparation. And they're asking what is really relevant, what topics would their providers like to hear about that would make tax preparation easier. Again, my recommendation is to go to the Civitas Strategies YouTube channel, just search for tax preparation, and you will see webinars that we have presented in the past on tax preparation. But also keep in mind that when it comes to taxes, our providers often look for information on understanding allowable deductions and expenses, understanding the Schedule C, understanding the 8829 business use of home, how to do the time-space calculation and when it is when it's applied, how to calculate food and transportation expenses, and how grant timing affects taxes. So you will find many videos on the Civitas Strategies YouTube channel that pertain to those particular topics. Well, those are all the questions we had for November 2024 at our Ask the Experts section of the Tom Copeland blog. We do hope that you will join us again. Please feel free to ask any questions that you have in the future. Wishing you well and hoping for a very successful 2025 for your business. Thank you.